just tastes better. And this show just gets better when this bloke chimes into the back line, who was on Morning Glory today, and he's back on. Matthew, good afternoon.
Good morning, Joel. Good morning. Good morning. How am I going? Good afternoon, Scope. Good afternoon, Sugar. I'm a bit rattled. I got a dog upstairs who I love more than my children and my wife, and she's going through. I'm not kidding, and she's going through chemo at the moment. She's doing a bit tough. So I got home and I thought, you know what? I tell you, if you got a dog, get on YouTube, type in dog TV, right? And what it does, it plays like nice gentle music, and it has pictures of cats and dogs, and mate, the dogs just sit there and watch it for hours. So I put it on. Next thing you know, mate, I get a text from tourists going, mate, where are you? I've been asleep for about an hour and a half, sitting watching dog TV.
I tell you, just on that, Matty, though, like it's a lot of people will leave their home, and dogs get quite anxious and a lot of anxiety, and mate, it's a really good thing to do for your dog, which I've only learnt in the last 12 months, is to put dog TV or even just the talkback radio. It does calm. It's been proven to calm their nerves.
Yeah, I mean, my dog Charlie loves Hadley. Yeah, just loves it. Just hello, Ray. Like a rampaging XBT through Fassy Fern. He's got all the sayings.
Fassy Fern's up near Newcastle, isn't it? Is that where
the West Lakes of Newcastle. Yeah, just outside of Toronto.
Wow, Hey, Matty, this pitch is electric. It looks like you could bowl a ball on it. It's so quick. Who does that suit, Cowboys or the Sharks more?
I think it suits the Cowboys. Cowboys are interesting side. If there was one side, I mean, look, I asked posed a question to the boys this morning. I said, if there's out of these two sides, who's the most likely to go on and make a real big impact? I think most of the year we probably thought Cronulla, but the Cowboys have got so much attacking strike. The Cowboys' shortcoming is they'll come out. You watch them tonight. They'll come out a million miles an hour, and you go, "Wow, look at them go!" But it's like they've got no brakes. They just the speed of the game makes them, but also gets them into trouble. They'd be a far better side if they can start fast. And as I say sometimes, if the opposition prove themselves worthy, then slip back into the arm wrestle. But they just go full on, bang, 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 and eventually the errors start to come in the field position. But watch them. A couple of things the Cowboys watch them tonight. They're not a great side at half-field attack, working to the posts and move, doing the half-field stuff. But rugby league's version of punches in bunches, which is move to the midfield, hit one of your big back rows to penetrate an edge, then go far side as quick as you can. They are a great side to watch on far side football. Working past the scrum line and coming back, because it opens up the spaces and makes Nanai and Lukey really dangerous and Drinkwater around the back.
Hey, Matty, I was talking to Scope before, and my gut feel, and it's only a low base, we haven't seen a heap of this kid, Daniel Atkinson, but and I use the Tom Brady analogy, and I'm not at all comparing him to him, but just in the manner in which Tom Brady really was missed by everyone all the time, and eventually you learn there's this champion there who wasn't so much gifted with athletic ability, but just the power of the mind and the consistency. And like the only reason the Sharks, in my opinion, are in the top four is because of what Atkinson has brought in a very short career. He's just had ice in his veins, and I reckon one day down the track it'll be bleedingly obvious that he should have been starting this match. At whose expense, I don't know, Nico or Braden Trindle, but we miss these kids sometimes, don't we?
Yeah, we get obsessed sometimes with body types, and the most important muscles between the ears. That's what it is. I mean, take my brother for instance. I remember that the late great Peter Jackson. It was a great quote. People were tipping Jacko off about myself and Joey, and he watched us one day on the ABC commentary, the Saturday afternoon game. And he goes, well, the bloke who's got the six goes okay, but the other bloke, fair dinkum, he's built like a womble. That's what he said. People get obsessed, and the NFL's version of that, of course, is the combine, where they get there and they do all the measurements with the hands, the throwing ability, the 40-metre sprint, the bench press. But it's hard to measure between the years and the ability to handle pressure. That's a lot of times that's invisible. And so, yeah, you're right. Atkinson's been terrific. It is sometimes almost at the start of your career, you go into these big games with a degree of naivety, which works in your favour. It's as you start to go on in your career and you start to gather a few scars, and sometimes, you see the trouble on the horizon during games, and you can tighten up a little bit. But he has been terrific. Look, there's been calls this week for Nicho Hynes to be dropped. I cannot disagree more. Mate, Hynes is the bloke that got him, to the finals last year and the year before. He's been terrific for that club, and he's had a difficult back end of the season. There's been a number of factors to that. If you're going to put Atkinson in the side, and no offence to Will Kennedy, but it's just trying to make the pieces in the puzzle fit. If I was Craig Fitzgibbon, I would have really considered playing Nicho Hynes fullback tonight. I think Nicho Hynes, I would have said to him going into last week, Nicho, you got the 7 on your back, but let Trindle do all that stuff, mate. I just need you to play like a fullback. A fullback's mentality. Run the football, float around the park, pop up where you need. Just watch and react a little bit. When you put great runners of the football in that 7 jersey or in that 6 jersey for a long period of time, it takes a lot of discipline for them not to lose their running game.
Fascinating game, isn't it?
Yeah, Matty, I've seen you toss this up at the start of the week, and I was thinking of another alternative at the start of the week. A couple of different options. Could you picture Nicho if just say, and you're going to have to chuck in the time of the game to consider this as well, right? If you're chasing points or the game's tighter and you want to get Atkinson on the field, could you picture Nicho in a 13 role through the middle? And defending him on an edge. So put Teague Wilton in the middle, for example. Put Teague Wilton in the middle defensively, and then play almost like the Queensland system when they have that swingman on the bench and you can attack with potentially...
Ponga's played that role, hasn't he, before?
Yeah, you play a Trindle and a Kennedy on the left side, and you play a Nicho Hynes and a Atkinson on the right side. Do you like the idea of that one as well, mate, if you just to mix it up a little bit?
Absolutely, Scope. Anything to alleviate the pressure. And one thing you said there, which is so true, right? What happens is these days, it's all copycat football. Now, you said before about Nicho playing 13. Now, the first thing that comes up when people talk about someone playing 13 who plays in the halves, and Gutho's been another example of that, they say, what about all the defensive responsibilities defending in the middle? Well, in the 90s, the 13 defended on the edge. They were what they called an adjustable defender. The 6 and the 13, they split. So if you're going to move Nicho into 13, or next year if Gutho goes into 13, they don't have to defend in the middle. You can put them on an edge and push the edge front rower, the next defender in. So I totally agree with you. Anything to alleviate the pressure. I'll tell you what's really interesting, boys. If you look through rugby league history, let's go back to 1990, right? So Brandy starts the year at halfback, and he's on fire. But Gus Gould noticed with Brandy is that as the season would start to wear on, he'd start to get a little bit tired. The first thing that would disappear was his incredible running game. So what Gus started to do, Brandy would play the first 8 or 9 rounds at 7, and for the next 8 or 9 rounds, he'd play fullback. And then he put him back into the halves for the final series. And it worked a treat because what it did, alleviate the pressure off him, constantly playing 7 and the pressure of that. But it just stimulated his running game. And sometimes when blokes have got great running games, they've got to forget about the number on their back. And they're just, you got to do what works for you. They'll say, mate, don't abandon the donkey that took you to the top of the hill. And for Nicho, that's his running game. He's a great runner of the football. Everything, if I was Fitzy, everything that goes into tonight's game is about alleviating the pressure off Nicho Hynes and allow him to float freely and run the ball.
I can't wait for this. So, Matty, just in closing, what's your final say for this game, your final say for tomorrow night's game?
Look, tomorrow night, I'll have Manly tomorrow night. I think that what you've got one side, it's really interesting, coming off a loss to Penrith, where I thought they went out there, they were too passive, they played with no emotion, and they didn't play like a finals game. But then the other side, you got Manly, right? And they're coming off a really emotional win, where I reckon even they would have been surprised how deep they dug to get that win. And so they've got all the confidence and the momentum, whereas there's no doubt with JWH and a lot of those players having their last game, they're going to be right up for it. But I do like Manly. DCE, Tommy, Brooks, Hamole up against Angus Crichton. I like them. Tonight's a really difficult one. I'll go for the Cowboys in a tight one.
I'll tell you what, I like that donkey quote. I'm not at all referencing this player as a donkey, but Anonymous has texted through suggesting if Ramien's fit, Atkinson would drop out of the 17. That would be such a wrong call, in my opinion. The kid has to be there. He is. They're not in the top 4 without him. Anyway, Matty, enjoy the football over the weekend, and we appreciate you having a double shift on SEN over your Friday.
Good on you, boys. Thanks, Sean. Good on you, Scope. See you, lads.
Cheers, Matty.